Hi, I'm Sophie, and I haven't seen a lot of movies.
Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm here to help with that. And we are
SP Film Viewers.
going for positive vibes at the start of February.
Yeah. Love and positivity and happiness and tranquil. Yeah. I don't know, I feel like we've got a good start so far, so let's go with it.
And with that in mind, picked out a film that I think you're probably going to find you'll find satisfaction from.
Okay.
Despite the simplicity of what the film has to offer, but I think there's beauty to be found in it. So
I like to find beauty in anything I see. You know that when we go on a walk, I always point out something. I'm like a child. I'm like, oh, Paul, look, there's some mushrooms.
Exactly. So this is a film called Perfect Days, 2023 film.
2 years old now.
That's correct.
I keep forgetting that we're in 2025.
Yeah, I know. It's from a German director called Wim Wenders. And I thought this would be a good introduction to his work, because there's another film I would like you to see at some point, but that's quite much longer film. But there's also beauty in that film as well, so this one, I ended up going for this one because it's set in Japan.
I just thought, assuming from the front cover, it would all, because obviously you've mentioned it's subtitled, and so I just assumed authentically it would be all Japanese. So has he done a lot, the German director, previously, apart from that?
Yeah, he's done a lot of work, and there's even a booklet, and that it's from that set you gave me at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
The nice set. So it is for people who do want to watch this film before, and it is on the Mubi subscription service, which they always seem to have like offers, like either like 3 months for £1 or something.
Oh, that's
so
quite
it's
reasonable.
pretty reasonable for something that's a lot of the art house kind of films that they have on there, and quite diverse set of films they have on there that you can't normally find on any other streaming service. I know we've had some burns in the past with obviously Under the Silver Lake, where that was not so strong for appealing for us, but generally we've watched other films on there on our own time, and we've come like, oh, let's see what it's like. And but this one I'd seen on my own, thinking, oh yeah, I do want to see this, see what it's like. And I'm thinking at some point, so I think there's a film that Sophie will appreciate, so hence why we're here.
To be fair, you did give me a little bit of a selection of films to kind of pick from.
Yeah.
And I did read the back of the box, and I did seem quite intrigued. I know it sounds really biased, like round when it's coming to springtime now, it always reminds me of Japan, like when we travelled there, and I kind of get to a point of wanting lots of Japanese food around this time. It's stupid. I think it just makes it a little bit nostalgic for me.
Yeah, I'm wondering when we go through this if that's going to be the case or not. I feel it might be. There'll be certain bits that you might
It just feels like it was ages ago now, but just the food and all of that, and cherry blossom.
You don't see any cherry blossoms.
It's a shame.
But unfortunately,
but I am
wrong,
really
wrong season.
intrigued to
check it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll read the synopsis for you. Keep it as brief as possible. Hirayama, who's the lead character, cleans public toilets in Tokyo, lives his life in simplicity and daily tranquility. Some encounters also lead him to reflect on himself.
I feel like it's good to have reflection on yourself and just anything in general within life, because I think sometimes we can be so busy with the grind that you don't step back and reflect on things. You just go.
Yep.
Especially in Japan's culture, like they have like this quite diverse, like they are quite spiritual, they are quite naturistic, but at the same time their like work life can be quite intense.
Yeah.
So it's trying to find that beautiful work life balance, which I'm still struggling with.
We're still trying to crack the code on that one, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go and watch Perfect Days.
In this here promo of the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast, you either live by the gun or die by the sword. I'm Nico, just one half of the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast, where my co-host Chris and I deep dive into everything good, bad, and weird the world of cinema has to offer, and some lighter reviews for movies we just felt like talking about. So if you're looking for not-so-family-friendly reviews of family-friendly movies, gorefests with hunky men, the bottom of the barrel flicks, or technically good films as determined by the cinema oligarchy, we're the right podcast for you. You can find us anywhere podcasts invade your ear holes and on social media at TGTBTW_podcast. So check us out. We have such sights to tell you about. Peace.
A perfect day.
No, okay. So, expected to go along with that. But...
I think I went really, really too hard with it. That I lost breath.
Should have sustained longer.
Yeah. I can do it now again.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So we are back from watching Perfect Days. What did you think?
I liked it. I want to go and move to Japan and clean Japanese toilets for a living.
Well, I'd like to move to Japan, yeah, sure, but...
Do you not want to clean Japanese toilets? No? I mean, how clean are they? How immaculate and how satisfying. And also, it's not like going into British toilets and they'd be stinky and sick all down them and God knows what else. And these, to be fair, do they actually need cleaning? Like, they're that clean. I'm just like, yeah. I think I'd really, you know me, I'm a clean freak. I love to clean. Like,
you do, yeah.
You're so lucky that you got me as your wife and you don't have to clean because I really enjoy it.
So you relate to main character Hirayama then? Like he's taking pride in his work, his day to day.
Yeah, I'd say so. Cleaning a toilet, I take pride in cleaning that. I scrub my toilet every week.
You don't go with like a magnifying a mirror underneath checking the rim and...
I saw that and I was like, oh, I didn't. Never done it in the 5 years we've lived here. God knows what's under there. Well, I do wipe underneath the rim and I do look myself, but I don't get a magnifying glass.
Sufficient, yeah.
Like, and I do the whole circumference of the toilet, but he knew loads of little things like pulling off this tap thing and it pulls all further out to clean the pipes and...
Their toilets have a lot more like gadgets and stuff. There's like the one where the jet wash that cleans your bum. Yeah. And stuff. They're very fancy toilets.
Made it look like the toilet had a pee-pee, you mean? Like a little penis came out.
I guess.
I don't know. I think this was something I generally, at the moment right now, this film I needed, I think. I've noticed I'm more calmer and my serenity's there when like I go outside, I go for a walk, I embrace things and go... oh, look at that plant, or look at this bird, or whatever. Like, if I'm out and about, and I will always point something out, I'll always kind of enjoy nature. And
same. Yeah. As I've gotten older, that's definitely more the case. Like, just having the quiet walk, taking in the sunshine,
the
fresh air and the scenery.
Especially with it being a bit winter and dreary at the moment. It's nice to actually starting to see snowdrops popping up, you know. I've got some little crocuses and I'm thinking, oh, I'm actually seeing life springing up. And I think this is where you kind of think, right, I've had my rest. Like, I always think of like, well, life has its seasons. I think January definitely...
It literally does have its seasons.
No, but our lives as well. Right. Like, we go through seasons as does the universe. It's like, I think January was definitely... a horrible winter where like we should have just been hibernating because it was that crap of the winter. Yeah. It's like anything that could have been thrown at you pretty much was. February, I feel like we're already getting a new lease of life. Like it's starting to look positive. And I think this character doesn't want for a lot.
Absolutely not. No, he's the main focus of the story is literally seeing him go doing his day to day really pretty much in various aspects, like the sort of routine that he's going through, but it varies up how it does it a little bit, like just snippets, snapshots as he's going through his.
I wondered how many days actually we did see, like, of a day in the life of him.
I should have counted because obviously I'd seen him before. But
it would be interesting to know. Because the first day, I'm really invested in this character. It's like, oh, this is so intriguing, like, what he does. Like, first of all, any Japanese person, I do feel sorry for them having to, like, I get annoyed even having to make my bed, which is flip a duvet over and my pillow and fluff it a bit. They have to physically move their bed.
If they haven't got the space for it, I suppose, yeah.
But then if I were him, it's like, well, I haven't seen you go in that room apart from sleeping. I know it's in the middle of the floor, but I'd be like, I think I'd be pure lazy. I wouldn't be arsed, like, getting out of bed and then having to move my full bed.
Or some places have that, those, like, they fold into the wall, or they convert into a couch and they do that. That would be even more annoying. I think it's slightly easy just to roll up a mat and shove it out of the way.
But we've slept on one of those and they are flipping comfy. Like, I think it must be the flooring that they've got that makes it easier, because we've slept on something similar in our house and I've had backache and I can feel my hips digging in the floor.
Yeah.
But they are so comfortable. I think, first of all, when we watched this, it did remind me a lot from when we visited Japan. First of all, I remembered how tiny everything is, how small
the rooms are,
The rooms are. Like, his kitchen is absolutely dinky. And I think my kitchen's small. And it's like, how big do you want it, Sophs? It's the simplisticness of, he doesn't have a laundry room. Like, he doesn't have, like, a washing machine and a tumble dryer. He doesn't have, really, what looks like a shower.
Yeah, it's pretty much, like, bare bones, really.
Yeah, I assume he has a toilet, but you never see him on that one.
Yeah. Don't really need to. I think it's implied.
There's no, like, gadgets.
He's very analog with what he has, really. By that, I mean, he's got cassette tapes.
That's like, and the camera. That's like, but they're all old school. Like, his camera's still film.
Like Olympus one.
It's black and white film that he's buying. And even his morning routine is like, wake up, brush my teeth,
spray the plants that he's
got.
Yeah.
He's got a room dedicated just to plants. Like, it was quite funny later on when we kind of see that he does get some interaction with, like, his niece coming over. He could have slept with his plants in that room because it looked like he could have pushed the table, like the plants are in the middle. He didn't move the plants, like, it wasn't like they were getting moved. He ended up squishing in his kitchen bit instead, because he respected his plants, I felt, so much that he didn't want to disturb them.
The harmony of that, the balance, as it were.
Yeah, and you can say I'm a bit racist, you possibly could, but he reminded me of, like, the calmness of Mr. Miyagi, like that kind of, I don't know, with the plants and everything, like with the bonsais, and because he's an older gentleman, he just seemed really wise beyond his years. I think that's kind of the character.
There's not much dialogue with him involved anyway. Really, it's more anybody else who's doing most of the talking. Really,
it's actually quite nice because it's not a lot of talking. So I was thinking, when we put this on, I assumed there'd be a lot of subtitles I'd be reading. It kind of reminds you of one of those Charlie Chaplin kind of films back in the day, where it's not, when I say it's not comedy or anything like that, but you're just literally just watching, you're observing. You're not having to really listen.
The visuals speak for themselves, as it were.
How clever is it that they've done that, though? Like, I'm actually invested in this character who hardly speaks. All I'm doing is seeing his day-to-day routine, which is normally boring because that's what everybody's life is. But yet I'm so invested in watching him get up out of bed, water his plants again. Go to the vending machine.
Get his boss coffee,
Get in the car, pick which cassette he fancies for the day. He does remind me a little bit of you.
The silent reserved.
And the music.
Got some good tunes to get you up and motivated for the...
where you need to be. But then he reminds me of me in a sense of the photography side and the plants.
When he's just looking up at the trees blowing in the wind and everything, and the sun shining through, and it's like, just take a quick picture of that. Really. And
every morning he gets out, he kind of takes a breath of fresh air.
It's like a new day, and it's like, what's going to bring today? Even though it's kind of the same thing, it's somehow going to be like the weather changes and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, like how is it going to be? How bad are the toilets going to be, I suppose, or You know, like
But
a
he
lot of people
seems
are going
to
to counter. Kind of.
be very optimistic about everything. He's a very positive character, and I don't think he makes anything kind of like, doesn't take anything for granted. Everything he's got, he's probably living within his means, and he's very happy and satisfied with his life. Like, cleaning a toilet isn't like a low level job in his opinion. Like, he's still taking a pride in cleaning a toilet and doing it very well. Whereas like us here, we'd be like, oh, you're a cleaner.
Looked down upon, really.
Yeah.
It's like a job that's not really like, oh well, you haven't done very well in school or whatever. You've had to succumb to doing that as a career path. Whereas
like anyone can clean, but no, not everyone can clean. Like, yeah, you can do it, but it depends on how well you do it. But obviously, he's a lot of an elder, like, senior compared to like the other cleaners that are on the job.
Well, so his assistant, was it Takashi, who's like always going like, oh, something out of 10 or whatever, like it's like his catchphrase or something. And like he's obviously the young generation's like, oh, why did you take so much pride in a job like this kind of thing? He doesn't quite understand it all, really. It's just like, I mean, that's not for to say like Takashi doesn't want to do something better, but also at the same time, I don't think he's that bothered. He's kind of like, you know, coasting through and just want an easy ride, really.
Yeah.
With things.
But I think he doesn't, he's more lazy, he comes across as. He's not like our main lead that just enjoys and is passionate about it. It's more like I'm just doing this so I can get a bit of money and then I can have a good weekend.
Cause he's like, this girl is interested in, he wants to borrow Hirayama's car because like, oh, I've got no money to take her out and everything like that. And
his little bike breaks or something, it's not starting.
Yeah.
And this girl seems quite fickle though. Like, she's like, oh, well, if you're not going to take me out, I'm not seeing you.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, she seems to have this connection over the cassette.
Which I kind of appreciate that she, and certain like how the boom with sort of like how vinyl's coming back, and I think even like cassette tapes are actually like coming back into the fray with going, oh, it's retro and it's cool now to have that kind of old tech, but it's it sounds better. Vinyl definitely would, I'd say so. Tapes, not so much. My dad even admits that tapes aren't particularly great sound wise, but obviously it's the portability factor of it.
I think it's the nostalgia of it as well, like seeing a tape. And I remember several tapes when I was little getting absolutely, completely wrecked to pieces.
Yeah, because you have to wind the thing back. Around.
But the way that he takes so much care over them.
So,
and like,
no, we got to put the tape
it
in.
did remind me of you when I go to like your turntable.
Yeah, no, I knew you were going to say that. Like, no, you're putting it down wrong. You've got to be careful. You've got to place the needle just right.
Yeah.
Don't let it scrape on there.
And that's the way he was kind of doing it with her when she was trying to put it into the cassette player, like is it cassette player?
Tape player. Yeah, tape deck, whatever. Yeah.
But then he reminded me of you because she was like listening to it and she was appreciating it, and I think he was quite taking some pride that he'd picked that, like he had that tape and someone else was enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I think that's you when you have a vinyl.
Just in general, like with music, for me, it's like, I love like trying to just like with films, I guess, like this one, I suppose, and the same with music. Like, if I enjoy something, it's like, oh, maybe introducing someone else to the music I'm listening to, and then maybe they'll like it as well as a recommendation type of thing. Really, I enjoy doing that discovery and then sort of like passing it on, as it were. Yeah,
you do. Like, even sweet little things, like, for example, I ain't got round to listening to them all, but I like to listen to something new normally because I get a bit bored with my music because it is very, what's the word, tailored to certain people.
But yeah, you have, I hear the same stuff playing on your playlist like constantly, and I can imagine after a while you're probably like, oh yeah, I've heard this, like it's like the radio kind of thing, like the following day it's like, oh, here we go again type of thing, just playing the chart stuff. That's,
like, don't get me wrong, if I've not listened to it for a week and then I'm quite happy to go back to my favourite songs, but if it's like every day, then it does get a bit mundane. So you've given me like a little list of new albums and artists to try out, and I think that's, if he was kind of had somebody, the main lead, because I think that's something I kind of feel sad about for him. Like, he's never got married, he's never got children, he kind of feels like he's a lone wolf initially.
Yeah, but despite all that, you never feel for him like, oh, I personally never really felt like I really feel sad for him. He seems quite content with how his life's turned out in a way, because I don't think it's, as I gather, it's not from like, oh, he's from sort of circumstance like, oh, well, I've got to have some work in to get the money in. I think it's something he's maybe somewhat fallen into, but then it's like the content nature of what he is. Like I say, he's a man of simple taste, really, and just like enjoys that and is happy to do the same sort of thing every day and just do his little chores every now and again when he has free time to do that. So
it seems like he only gets like one day off, doesn't it? I feel like, and then he's constantly working, and then his day off seems to be like the same kind of routine. Like, oh well, I'm going to the laundrette. I'll wash my uniform. Then I'll develop my photos and get my prints and put in another one. And then he's very harshly critiques his photos. Like, there was one, like, fair enough, some of them hadn't exposed or he hadn't done, and he ripped them up, like, yeah, fair enough. But there was one really good one and he was like, rips it up, and I'm like, are you joking? It's been printed. Might as well keep it, but he's very, like, organised, very, like, critical, very...
Well, yeah, when you saw that he, like, opened the cupboard and he got, like, all boxes full of things from, like, every... almost like week or month or something. Yeah, he's been taking the photos from.
Which of photos to keep and hoard in Japan when you don't have much storage is, you know...
Interesting, yeah, all things to do. But in the little booklet that came with the box set I've got, it mentions a word in Japanese, which is komorebi. I think that's how you say it.
What does it mean?
It's a Japanese word for shimmering of lights and shadows created by leaves swaying in the wind. So
they do say shadow a lot as well, and then in this,
and these kind of like flash back. Almost like when nighttime falls, it's kind of like you see these grayscale snippets of like what maybe it's like in his like what's happened through the day type of thing for him, and all that kind of stuff.
And as well, if I remember correctly, there was like one pretending to be a shadow and then seeing if it makes it like two shadows in...
Yeah, the back end, playing shadow tag or whatever.
Yeah, but like, oh, well, if we stand together, our shadows will get darker compared to... Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I've never played shadow tag before, because I know you straight away asked that, and I was like, nope, don't know what that is. The first time I've seen it. Obviously, I've played tag, but not shadow tag. I think within this, there's a couple of little bits where I expected something more to happen. But actually, I think it's nice that it hasn't. So, for example, like with the noughts and crosses, it was as simplistic as that he would go in and it was like a bit of an excitement of his day if somebody had...
Yeah, because he finds this piece of paper initially and it's like, that's weird, like, kind of noticed. And then he's like, no, you know what, I'll play this game of on this piece of paper, notes, I'll mark it down with, like, you know, cross or whatever, and then put it back, and then the next day comes back, and it's like, they're playing the game. It's like when people play chess, and they leave it for ages, and then they come back and write, oh, it's your move, and then, kind of that kind of same situation. So,
and then once the game ends, and it's like a little smiley face, they're saying thank you, and it's like, but it's not like, here's my number, no nothing, it's just as simple as...
If it was in like another thing, they would make a much more big deal out of it when like a typical rom-com, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
something.
But it was really nice just to be like, well, he took it. He takes everything for what it is. He's not
expecting anything major or drastic or anything like that. He's even from the people he encounters, like when he goes to this little food area and just this. Obviously, whoever owns the restaurant just gives him like ice water and go, oh, for your hard work and everything, day's hard work, and guessing he gives him some like edamame beans or something, like just a little snack, just for
pickles thing.
Just a little something for him, and that's that, and just like that, just that interaction. He doesn't need to be like, oh, guess what we've got in today? We've got this new cut of fish or whatever. Do you want to try it or anything like that? He's not asking for.
He's a creature of habit a little bit as well with his routine. And then when you get certain people ruin his routine, you can see that it's like a bit of a, oh, actually, you're causing chaos in my life because, and he gets
disbalance,
twice, maybe 3 times actually. This happens to him, where you see it kind of being a bit of a. So the first time is when his like co-worker Takashi takes his van home and wants to use his van, then wants to sell his cassettes, and he's been like a bit of a baby.
It was a bit like, oh, look how much these are worth. Like
Yeah.
$120.
But they're not his to sell anyway, so it's really annoyed me. It's like me just grabbing all your vinyls going, oh, how much money am I going to get?
Yeah.
Like, you've paid for them.
Yeah.
Why am I reaping the reward? So basically, then bless him being generous, because like, well, I don't want to sell, this would be you. It's like, I don't want to sell my cassettes because I value them a lot.
There's more, it's more sentimental value than anything, it's not about the money of that, but what you can get from them, really.
It's whatever it means to you personally when you bought it, and there's a memory possibly behind it.
Yeah.
So he actually physically gave him cash instead of selling his stuff. The thing that upset me though was Takeshi took it, didn't realise the repercussions that it would have on him. So like he ran out of petrol.
Yeah, engine light came up and all that kind of stuff. As I broke down.
He had to in the end sell one of his cassettes.
For a call out or whatever, or
to get petrol or whatever. And then he didn't eat out, because every other night he would eat somewhere out.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. He had a pot noodle at home.
Yeah.
And it was like, actually, he could ill afford it, because like he gave him whatever he thought was enough, and then you could tell he wanted more, so he actually just emptied his full pocket out.
Yeah.
And it's like,
he didn't. Generous. Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot. And I always say this, people who are generous normally have less. It's very weird how it works, but the more people who have money, the less generous they are, because that's how they've got money.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that kind of the upheaval for this is when his niece arrives out of nowhere. Yeah. And that kind of definitely ruins his routine. She's sleeping in his bed upstairs. He doesn't want to disturb her and water his plants. And you said this was quite funny, didn't you, when he went up the stairs? Like, he's got the water gun.
Oh, yeah, it was almost like he was a spy or something, as if, like, there's some intruder coming up, I best arm myself with something. But then, it was quite a funny shot. But obviously, it's more that, I just really want to get into the room and do my normal thing of squirting the plants.
Yeah, because if I don't...
they might die or something.
And he really cares for his plants, but then he don't want to inconvenience her.
But she... At the same time, she's not like an annoying niece or anything like that. She's like, she wants to hang out with him. She wants to help him in his work.
Yeah, I didn't know if she was going to be using him, but actually, I think she does actually want. The more that you kind of watch it and how it ends, you understand like why she's wanting to go to her uncle's. Like, it seems like his sister is very well off and very rich and has all that in her life, but maybe doesn't have what her uncle has in time and.
Yeah, appreciation for things, the smaller things, really.
Yeah.
Because even, like, the niece is, she is like an Olympus camera as well. And so it's like, again, that sort of appreciation for the old tech, as it were. But,
well, yeah, apparently he got her it and he couldn't even remember he'd done that. Like, but then even when the sister came, she was like, is it true you're cleaning toilets? And like, she was judging him.
Well, she said that. She said, I don't mean it in a bad way about like, this is where you've ended up or something like that.
Makes it sound bad when you're saying it. Well, I don't mean it in a bad way. That kind of implies that it is.
What's the thing where you say,
don't mean to insult you.
Oh, yeah, don't take this the wrong way. Yeah. But it's like, well, you clearly do.
Yeah, 100%.
I've taken it,
Like, why are you saying don't take it in the wrong way? Yeah. Why are you thinking that? If you just don't say it. That's my logic. I think you can think it, but you don't have to verbalise it.
Yeah.
Can we talk about some amazing toilets that we saw and how beautiful they are to go to toilets in Japan?
Yeah, by all means, go ahead.
Because there were several toilets. Like, first of all, the first one that he went to is like near a shrine, and it was just, I don't know, just like the building of the toilet itself is beautiful. The way that it presses this button and the door closes for you to get into the toilet or out.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything about it just seems like a cleanliness, clean place. And even when he's like, somebody's disturbed him and wants to go to the toilet, he's still got something pretty to look at. Like, the toilets are normally in parks, it's clean.
Yeah. Just to look up and see the trees moving, as I say, the wind blowing through them, and it's like, so this is really nice. Yeah, just take a moment to look at, as opposed to, I guess any normal person would do, be like, oh, come on, like, hurry up, kind of thing, and just being impatient, or we'd just like literally get our phone out and be like, scroll on Instagram or whatever while we wait for something, if we're being impatient, something.
But I think that's the thing, whereas he's like just embracing life and nature. There's one toilet that was amazing, but I do wonder how it would work, because I hadn't seen these when we were in Japan, so obviously
No.
these are newly invented. They're like glass-stained toilets, and one of the women that's like speaks English is like, how does this work? And it's very freaky. So it looks like it's connected by the lock.
Yeah.
So if you unlock it and it's unoccupied, you can see through, and you can see the toilet, you can see the sink and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it becomes like translucent, but once you turn the lock, it kind of covers up really.
It fogs and fades, like it changes the colour and it goes. Yeah. But imagine if there were a power cut and you're in the middle having a piss or whatever.
Yeah. And then wiping yourself. Oh.
Yeah,
it's awkward.
Everyone can see you in the middle. It's just a bit like Japan's technology is amazing, but I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I trust it. What if it faults?
Yeah.
Then I'm wide open to everyone seeing me.
Yeah.
I can imagine it's never happened because they would try and test these things.
Yeah, they would, wouldn't they? Yeah.
But I would just like, I don't know if I feel very comfortable with that.
Mm.
But yet again, still beautifully done, like the way that they are, the visually.
Yeah, like the architecture of it, and it's like almost like an art piece, essentially. Yeah. Like you would have in like some kind of like modernish park or anything like that.
And I think that's what works. Like every toilet, wherever it's situated, kind of fits in with the theme of where it is. Like ours are just awful little huts, and they stink.
Yeah. There's nothing pleasant. Imagine Hirayama coming over here trying to climb, be like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be having a perfect day every day.
He wouldn't. He'd be miserable days.
Yeah,
also.
He'd be absolutely grumpy.
Yeah.
But then he always has like his lunch outside normally if it's not raining. We don't actually get to see him in the rain when it's lunchtime.
No. There are days when it is chucking it down and everything, and he's just gone by. But that's normally after the fact he's done his duties, really, which is another thing of the fact that he does these little bits in the morning, and then he's got the rest of the day to do whatever. It's like someone opening a butty shop or whatever around here, and it's like, by lunchtime or 2:00 you wrapped up, and it's all right. You got the afternoon to do whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a instance later on in the film where Takashi's like, "Oh, I'm quitting basically for today," and it's like, "What?" But you can't really do that because you still got to do. Someone's got to do the shifts, and it's not until like Hirayama's like carrying on through almost in the entire day having to do his extra work. So it's like through the night time he's still cleaning toilets and everything. And again, it's another disruption of like the norm for him. And but
this is when I see him the first time get annoyed or angry or like a bit miffed. Like he rings the company saying, like, "You're gonna have to find somebody.
I can't. This is just for today. I can't be having this again," type of thing. Because it's like I don't want the balance to be broken, and just want to get things back to normal. Yeah.
And I think this is where I was like, oh, interesting. I think I don't find my balance. I think sometimes my balance can be really thrown off, and I don't respect my balance enough to be like, actually, this is not okay. And I think that's when I need to voice it and go, actually, you know what? No, it's not. It's not all right. And I think this is where we are quite simple creatures. We're happy to be at home. We are home birds. We do.
You mean me and you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do like the simplistic things in life. We don't need the biggest house, the biggest car. It's not like all the fine things.
A big house with cinema room and everything wouldn't go amiss.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in terms of like material goods stuff, yeah, but in terms of like we don't need to be paying something astronomically through the nose just for a place to live, really. And I mean, we've got the view of the fields as like that's
like in the summer I'm the happiest, like when it comes springtime and I can sit in my garden and enjoy nature.
Yeah.
Apart from when the ants come.
Then
I'm in my best happy place ever. And I think that's what this film's kind of showing you. Like in your little booklet you've got this, which I'm definitely gonna try and do.
Oh yeah, it's got a in the bunch of the art cards that they come with a set. It's like I was flicking through just to see what the snapshots were. There's a how to make Hirayama's flower pot paper, which there's like a scene in that where he's at the shrine and he's like, oh, there's a little sprout here. He shows he points to one of the I guess the monks or whatever at the shrine. It's like, oh, I'll put it in the little soil.
He's like, can I have it?
Yeah.
Like you're looking at it like, please.
Yeah. So again, it's like for his little collection at home. Everything.
The way that he takes care of it, and it's like it shows you on this little piece of paper how to make the flower pot from a newspaper. So it says like Japanese newspaper, cut out an eighth of a full sheet of newspaper. So I'm going to give it a go, and I'll let you know if I can succeed or not. The only thing is, I'm not very good at origami, so I'm hoping it's not going to get that hard.
Yeah, I might put this on the socials, and then other people can give it a try as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we put it with my example?
Yeah.
If I can make one.
Yeah.
I might get you to. But I remember when we were in Japan once, and we were at a ryokan, or was it the Buddhist temple where we stayed? I think it was.
Buddhist temple, yeah.
And they gave us to make a paper crane, because obviously we'd been to like Hiroshima and we'd...
No, that was after.
Oh. No, we needed to make a paper crane because we were going to Hiroshima
the next
day.
That's right.
And we should have taken his paper cranes to...
Yes, that's right, because we've got them in the remembrance of it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Paul didn't make a paper crane because he got too annoyed by the paper crane folding that Sophie made 2 dead swans. Because I was like, well, I need to take something. Like, I don't want to be the only one that doesn't have anything to take. And we didn't have an excuse of why we couldn't have because there was no technology really around, like apart from your phones, like in the temple, to actually then not be able to make these paper cranes. But you tried, didn't you? And then your patience wore thin.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We might have a Paul version and a Sophie version.
No, I think we're just going to have a you version.
Oh, okay, I see.
So they're all making a competition.
He already knows he's not going to do well at it, that's why. But I don't know, I think this has just really helped me think of what balance in life looks like. And I think that's something that what was it called? I've got a book, Wabi-sabi. I don't know how that just came to me straight away. And that's to do with like the beauty of nature. What do you need? What do you require? What can you keep or hold on to and let go of? And I think it's more like knowing that fine balance of life, like realizing actually I'm lucky because my feet are touching the ground. How blessed am I? Compared to like letting everything kind of, I think it's just making you be grounded. I think that's what this film is when you watch it.
Oh yeah, no, it's very much a slice of life film, and just there's simply just beauty in the simplicity of seeing this character doing his day to day. And so like there's at the start there's even like certain things where he's not asking for a big thank you or anything like that from everybody. There's like a mother who's lost a child momentarily, and she doesn't even say, oh, thank you for finding him or anything. Like, he takes his little boy out to look for his mum, and
he's really cute.
Yeah, he at least he waves and everything. He kind of just like laughs at the fact of it, because he's
well, I thought she was really rude as well, because like obviously he'd taken the little boy who was holding his hand, and then the mum straight away
like got a wet wipe. And
I'll be honest, I did do that today though. I was that awful woman. So we went to Asda today, and there was a woman, bless her, that was kind of asking for change, but then gave me a leaflet to say I can clean your house. I'll be honest, I took the leaflet being polite, but then I did go into Asda and I did antibac my hands. But I don't know if that's because of COVID now. Like that's I probably before I would have I wouldn't have even had antibac to do it. Wouldn't have even entered my head.
It's a strange thing how that's come around from that, because a lot of times now I'm a bit like that with certain things, like I've touched, I don't know, a railing or something. It's like I feel like my hand's like contaminated, so I need to keep an antibac in a coat pocket or something. As daft as that sounds, it's like just a quick like cleanse, and it's like, okay, I feel okay now. It's like I don't want to touch my phone or anything like that, because then that's going to contaminate and I'll forget later on,
isn't it?
And stuff. Sometimes you can't just do nothing about it, kind of thing. But it's the same with obviously if I've got muddy hands or something like that, I feel like I need to wash it off, really, especially if it's like eating or whatever. But
then I think, to be fair, our main lead didn't look mucky. Like, he didn't look filthy. Like, yes, okay, he's been cleaning toilets, but he is one of the most hygienic person, the way that he's cleaning that toilet, and he's wearing gloves. Apart from the one thing...
She didn't know that, though.
He was picking up, and initially I was like, are you not going to wear gloves? Because he was picking up, like, cigarette butts and tissues, and I was a little bit like... But to me, I feel like he is, like, quite a clean... character, but obviously she would just judged him because he was a cleaner.
Even just the fact of like, it'd be totally different in like in a film, with obviously like he's literally just cleaned it, and then someone straight away goes in. Be done completely different in another film. It'd be like, oh god, like some oh, I'm just gonna shit my pants.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like, and like, yeah, make a joke out of it that way or something like that. Whereas it's more just like I said, like he's just standing outside, like patiently waiting.
Apart from the drunk guy, which I did think maybe could have gone that way, but it didn't, which
he's
I
like stumbled
appreciated.
and knocked over his like cleaning in progress sign.
Had too much sake.
Yeah. And what did you take from the fact there's like a homeless person who's like kind of like roaming the...
Yeah,
he's
not
like in
much,
the park and then...
Not much is kind of said of it, but you can kind of see from our main lead guy, it's like a bit of a respect towards him, like he's not looking down on him.
Yeah, like say we would, like get away from him type of thing.
Yeah, like, it's more like intrigued by him, but also I think it's like a freedom thing that he kind of admires, like...
Yeah, I guess in a way, because obviously for this homeless character we don't know much about, it's like you've got yourself into that situation somehow, rather than as opposed to Hirayama's, like, his choice to become, do the clean toilets and everything like that and kind of go with it. So
it's always a hard thing with homelessness nowadays as well. Like, he looked genuinely homeless, like he did, but he was happy being homeless, and I feel like he didn't seem too miserable about it. Like, he was like enjoying nature and looking up and embracing everything.
Because in a nicer country,
Maybe.
Not freezing his ass off. Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's one of those where he just seemed to be enjoying the land and living off the land. I think that's why he was more intrigued by him. Like, everyone else kind of just blended into the background a little bit.
Yeah, like he did when he saw him out and about in like the city thing, and he was doing the kind of same, like raising his hands up in the air and everything like that. So as opposed to where he was in the park with nature and everything like that. So, but people just walking past him, everything like that. Nobody's like kicking him to the curb or all like that.
True.
So,
on like a weekend, he goes to that nicer restaurant, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The one that sings. Oh, what does she sing now?
It's I can tell you, it's in the booklet.
Perfect Day. Just another perfect day.
Just bear with me. One of the other patrons is like got his guitar out.
Yeah.
It's the Japanese version of The House of the Rising Sun, which was the first song that we hear at the start of the film. That one on the tape is by The Animals, but this is just like the Japanese version. Yeah. Of it.
And I think it was just, you could see he was quite smitten by her.
Mm-hmm.
There's more like communication happening, and she seemed to favour him more with what she would like kind of give to him. And I think other clientels were noticing and kind of kicking up a bit of a fuss. Then he was going to go back there, like, let's say he's got Saturdays off or whatever.
Yeah.
And he saw like it wasn't open, and she was hugging this other man.
Who's her ex-husband,
But he didn't know that, and you could tell he kind of felt...
It's like, oh, shouldn't be kind of thing, like,
uncomfortable and with the situation. Even though he's not done anything wrong, he felt like he was in the way, so he was like, oh.
Yeah, be on my way,
And then this weird encounter that the ex-husband...
Yeah.
But this is where you can tell he must have liked her, because he straight away goes for cigarettes and beer.
Yeah. Again, that's something that is always like the purity of himself is almost like poisoning himself with those kind of chemicals, as it were. So having like just chugging a can of beer and then like immediately like kind of light up, but it's like retching his guts up because it's not nice. Like
it must not be a constant smoker, because otherwise he'd be used to it.
Or he just doesn't at all. Maybe he's done it in the past, but not. Yeah. But even the ex-husband comes along and says the same thing as with smoke. It's, I haven't done it in such a long time type of thing. It's still, I'm also coughing. So they're kind of similar in that sense as well.
They seem to have a bit of a conversation. He explains like that they're divorced and that he's got cancer? Yeah,
he mentioned something about that. Yeah.
And that he came because obviously he realised how badly he'd treated her and just wanted to apologise to her.
Yeah.
And I think there was like, it seemed strange that the husband had to come out of his way to find him, to explain that to him. So I feel like there was something there, but never really...
Yeah, touched upon much, yeah.
And then from that instance, it's kind of like this is coming towards the end now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking it just goes to him getting in the car?
Yeah, I reckon so. It kind of wraps up there, and then there's like just the one take of him driving along, and it's that kind of the Nina Simone song of playing I'm Feeling Good.
Mm.
And as you see him driving along looking at the camera, he's kind of like happy crying. So you don't know, like, well, it's a bit of like, what's his emotions there? What's tears of joy or tears of sadness, and trying to like smile and grimace through it, or
is
like,
it more like relief because actually the person he liked isn't in a relationship?
I guess there's different ways you can interpret that, really, or like for the fact of, you could say, I said to you as it was doing that, playing that out at the end, if you ever had like where you've listened to a piece of music, or there's like a certain song that you get so much joy from the album, it's like brings you to tears in a happy way.
I have to say, I think for me, that song would be our wedding song. So, like, every time that's played, like, I will cry, but it won't be because I'm sad. It's just reminding me.
Yeah, no, that's like a happy memory type of thing. Yeah. So
even thinking about it, I can whelm up on that song.
Yeah. So that might be the case for him in this instance. Yeah, like the song of reflection, like I'm feeling good, like he is feeling good, and it's kind of like, oh yes, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, kind of thing.
Yeah, because I remember when I was kind of like transitioning from like works, like going to one role to another, and there's the Rina Sawayama Who's Gonna Save You Now song, and I used to feel quite good about like leaving that job, thinking, right, who's gonna save you once I leave? Okay. Is it gonna kind of all crumble down and you're gonna have a hard time? And that was like a bit of a transition.
But it was more like a powerful song, is it, in that sense, not like a melancholy song or anything like that.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I've said this to you before, like it really depends on how, I don't know, like the way the wind blows essentially, but I can sometimes hear Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World song, and I don't know that one, I don't know what it is about that song. It's just a beautiful song. And
is there a connection to when you first heard it?
I think as daft as it sounds, it's literally just because I think it was when I started listening to it, or had it on my iPod when I first went off to university.
Oh, I remember you saying this.
I think I don't know. There's no like it's like, oh, what wonderful hello going off to. I don't know. I think it's just that kind of like it's such a, like I'd say, a class as a melancholy song, right? It's kind of like uplifting. Or it is a happy song, obviously, appreciation of things. Rather than that,
but I guess you can think of it as it depends on what frame of mind you're in. If you are in a wonderful world, as well.
Because it wasn't like, oh, I'm miserable here or anything like that. Because I think it was just more the
change of everything.
I think it just hit me in the thing, and there are other songs in certain ways that do they trigger memory and stuff, and they're forever like they are a thing to me or whatever. But yeah. But that's the power of music, I think, and I think that this encapsulates that as well as part of the film as well, which is really good. There's
some really good soundtracks in here, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Betty Smith, what's her name?
Patti Smith is the...
Be honest, I do annoy myself at the fact that the only reason why I know this is because she's in...
mentioned in
Taylor Swift song, and I was like, who is she?
Redondo Beach is the song that the girl who's like listened to the tape and she's, oh, who's this? Kind of...
I was thinking the same, to be fair.
And you got like Brown Eyed Girl.
Me.
By Van Morrison, as the niece says. And or as I used to say, when looking at my dad's record collection and saw the vinyl and the things, that Morrison van.
No.
Because, we used to go shop at Morrison's. So,
you're really cute, aren't you?
So, yeah.
But I think this is something as well, like music, because I've always grown up with music in my household, but I think your family is quite big on music, but they've got a wide collective range of tastes. Like I know your dad's very passionate for music, which I think's kind of...
influence, massively,
I think for me, I know certain artists from my mum and dad, but then I think you are like a big drive of helping me find new things now. Like if we actually ever broke up, there'd be so many people I couldn't listen to. So let's just hope that never happens.
Yeah. And like I just thought of another example, like the other day when we were in this sounds completely random, like the garden centre a couple of weekends ago, and there's that, well, my favourite song
The
Weather With You by Crowded House. And it's a favourite song because I got almost like a nostalgia thing, because I really liked it when obviously Dad sort of like had it on, and it's like, oh, what is this song? It's like, there's something about it, and it sort of gives me the goosebumps, and almost like, again, like, oh, tearing up a little bit, even like hearing that.
It's got a good beat though, hasn't it?
It's such a good, I don't know what it is. I think it's just, I don't know.
It always reminds me of you now though, like when it plays, like
Yeah.
I think instantly goes straight to you.
Yeah.
I feel like if any Ed Sheeran played, you'd think of me, even if he annoyed you.
Yeah, certain ones I prefer more than others, but yeah.
You still think of me.
Yeah, that's true. The only other thing I've got to bring up, which I kind of found from reading through the booklet that came
The
with it.
lovely booklet that I bought you for Christmas.
Yeah. The shoot was 16 days on location.
I don't feel like that's very long.
And when scouting out, making sure that everything was in reasonable distance from, his apartment to where he needs to be. Like,
I wonder if he actually cleaned the toilets then. Like,
he did. They had like staff training him, and he did like such a good job. It's like, oh, can we like hire you? So he proper got into character.
Amazing
for it as well. So it says in there, which I can totally believe, because I think he's like a really good, renowned Japanese actor.
He looks like he would like actually enjoy the simple life as well, to be fair.
So yeah, from doing all that location scouting, it's like, is it realistic for him to get from there to the laundrette, drive to those toilets and then get back and everything, or cycle there to...
Whereabouts is it? Is it in
It's Shibuya.
Shibuya? We've been to Shibuya.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
Was that the back end of our trip that we stayed there?
It was, yeah. There was the...
Don't they have the red light district there?
I think where we stopped, it supposedly was, yeah. But yeah, the backdrop is where the sky tree was.
Yes,
the tower
and
was.
we've seen that.
Yeah.
I think as well what I love is just the culture of Japan that is immersed in this. Even though it's filmed by a German director, it still lives and breathes Japan.
Yeah.
It's got everything.
Did you feel like, when watching, like I said before we started, it's like, did you feel like, oh, I kind of miss going down those streets and going to those little bars?
Didn't miss going up all those steps to get to any kind of shop.
Yeah.
Remember being like, oh, how many steps? And then but the food, like, I know sometimes we go to a restaurant and we're a bit snobby. It has to be like quite nice and grand, and British people, I think, when you go into somewhere, like if it was like a side street, oh, we don't want to eat from that little cafe down there. Like if it's in a market.
Yeah.
Like, we'd judge it like it's a bit rough, wouldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, these are all down little markets, but the food is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing about Japan. Like,
like those chefs will take pride in what they do.
100%.
And like, it didn't have to be like cost a fortune to eat there to be nice. It's sometimes, again, more simplistic, say it's cheap and cheerful kind of thing for Japan. But, you know what I mean? Like, something that's just got flavour and taste and everything.
They've literally...
Then it's going to...
all their food's got flavour, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, because they overpower it with things because they make it less bland for what it is as raw ingredients, I suppose. Yeah.
No, it really made me miss eating in Japan. Just being
we obviously don't really see him eat much, like it's like a big meal.
Even the way he slurps the noodles, I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. I really enjoyed it, so thank you. I'm glad I bought you it.
So you could see it.
So I could see it, and I could use the little thing to make.
Which you didn't even know until I got it out.
No.
Today.
I did wonder how he made it, though. I was thinking that, so I'm glad you've got one.
Right, so, with that being said, what would you rate the film?
I think it's beautifully filmed. It's really cleverly thought of with, like, really little dialogue, but very engaging at the same time, which sometimes that can be quite boring if there's not much dialogue for me. Like an action film, I can be like, oh yeah, wow, another explosion. Oh yeah, they've jumped off a cliff. Whereas this was like, even though he was cleaning toilets, I was intrigued about his life and I wanted to get to know the character. I think it reminds me of you when we first started dating. He's a bit of a mystery.
Enigma, yeah.
You want to unpack and unravel and understand that. And I think you kind of feel intrigued by him as a character and what makes his cogs work.
Cogs.
I think overall he's just a wonderful human being. Like, he's got a heart of gold. He doesn't need a lot in life to be content. And I think he's one of those, like, elder spirits that's just happy to enjoy and immerse nature. And I think I need to get to that point. So overall, I don't know if from another watch if it change it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to give it a 9.5. There's something holding me back not giving it a 10, and I just don't know what it is.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
But I think after another watch, I think I would really fall in love. And I have. I just don't know what's holding me back if I'm giving it a full-on 10. But I think it's like the Japanese... I don't know if is it the nostalgia? Like, if somebody else was watching this and didn't have that nostalgia of Japan, would they enjoy it as much? I'm not sure.
Or would they, in a sense, be like, oh, well, this is boring, kind of thing? Like,
Yeah. I get a lot more appreciation from it because I've been.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
And then that's grown like a fondness of me between me and you. But then I just don't know what would make it a 10. I think for the ending was a little bit like, oh, okay, we've ended. But it was quite a long film as well. But it didn't feel long. But
you powered through. To
be fair, it was a late one, wasn't it? Because I was sleepy Sophie. But I think maybe that's what would have made it a 10 if I wasn't.
You weren't falling. You weren't going like having to nudge you, go like thing. But you was like, oh, I'm getting a bit
tired now, like a little baby.
Because of the nature of like the laid back approach.
I think as well, every time we wanted to go to bed, it was like, oh, okay, I can go to sleep now. But yeah, I think I don't know what could make it a 10. Probably another watch could make it a 10, if I'm honest.
So go 9.5.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm not. This is a one and done. I would definitely be emotionally invested.
Okay. That's fine and interesting you said, because initially I'd already logged this down when I first watched it on Letterboxd, and I'd only put it an 8.
Okay.
But coming back to this now and reflecting on it, it's gone up to 9.
Okay. Perfect. So I feel like mine could make a 10 if rewatching it.
Yeah, it could be that little extra.
I've scored it higher than you. I feel better now.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, as I say, like, just... I don't think, for me, I don't know if it could ever be a 10, though. I think it's just the nature of what the film goes through. It's definitely like a come back to and be like, oh yeah, appreciative of like how, this guy is really happy with just how simple his life is, and he's not asking for a great deal in it, and he's not say coasting through, but
he's not, because he's really got a drive
to do it. But
it's more, he values his own time, he values his own like space and happiness, and I think that's something that's rare sometimes. People just want the biggest, bestest everything.
I feel like it's like almost like a documentary style, but like a fictional one in a sense. Like, it's not like where he's like, oh, talking to the camera and everything, like, oh, here's today I'm doing this and going through all that kind of thing. But it has that quality about it, but in a way that's kind of like you're like a fly on the wall type of thing, and just seeing him doing what he's doing, and
it's like you're going along with him with his day, like, but he just doesn't know you're there.
Yeah, and it's just the beauty of it, really. Like, just he's not, because he's a calm character, and he's quite
he does
reserved
remind
and
me
everything.
of you.
Yeah,
really.
Then which you always say, like, oh, I'm your calm.
Yes, you are.
Blanket or whatever.
You just you can hug me and just make me calm. Mm-hmm. Like, you're very, very relaxed and calm. You can get a hot potato, 100%. Don't get me wrong, like, you can be, but majority of the time you are the calmer one out of the two of us. I would say my emotions can go up and down very much like a yo-yo. I'm fully aware, but I think this is just the simplicity of life. Also the shrines, where he was sitting to have lunch every day, that was absolutely beautiful, with like the statues as well. Everything that I loved about Japan, even to the simple things of, I know it sounds so stupid, the zebra crossings and the do noise that it makes to tell you can walk.
It's like, I missed that.
I missed that little noise where I was like, meh.
Oh, beep, beep, beep. Yeah,
it's
really
aggressive.
Annoying.
Like, I'd rather have it like a little cheapy bird.
Yeah.
Just simple things, and I think that's why it's probably gone up for me. Don't get me wrong, the first time I went into Japan, I had an absolute culture shock and cried because I couldn't find the kettle. Like, and everything was so flipping small.
Yeah.
I think I felt claustrophobic.
Perhaps, yeah.
100%.
But yeah, that's all it was, a culture shock. And we've said this before, like, yeah, we'd love to go back again, like, with
Yeah.
a more of a appreciation for things, so.
We would nail it this time.
Mhm.
Thank you for that. I hope that February has more like this to come.
Yeah, I'll try my best. Things we've as far as I know, we've still got a guest lined up for the next episode as well, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, excited.
So thank you very much for listening to this episode, and if you want to check out some of our other episodes, you can do so by going to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts from. And also be sure to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else they do the scoring system.
So if you haven't followed us already and you'd like to follow us, then we are on pretty much every platform that's available. We are on the socials under the handle SP_filmviewers on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and X.
We're also on Blue Sky, which is just SP Film Viewers, all one word for that one. But there we are.
So if you want to hit those like, subscribe, follow buttons, then please do.
Also got the YouTube as well, which we're doing an unboxing video on there recently.
So go like, follow, subscribe on YouTube, because I did say the more that followers Paul has on there, the more likely that you're going to see my face. Did I agree to 100?
You did.
Okay. It's nearly there.
Well, yeah.
It's over half.
Yeah. It is.
So,
yeah,
please do support him on that, because he's putting a lot of effort into it.
And we'd also like to thank the patrons, of course, for their continuing support. And if you want to have your name read out every single episode and have the opportunity to vote for a movie we watch once a month, then all you need to do is go to patreon.com/SP Film Viewers for as little as £1 or $1.50 a month. And we're going to shout out the people who are already part of the podcast family now.
So we've got our podcast friends, which are Mark from 100 Things We Learnt from Film, Ben from Push Pull Health, formerly known as Film Vloggers. We've got Nico from the Good, the Bad and the Weird podcast. Oh, and other patrons we've got is my mum. And
we've also got Gren, who is at cgren_draw on Instagram. Emma and Jones, who are at m_Hayton and at weightlossjonesy on Instagram.
So we also have got Alex and Shani, who are on Instagram under the handles Desperately Seeking Username and SDOG. And lastly but not least, we've got our newest Patreon, which is All Hail King Rhino.
Yep.
On Instagram.
Yep, and Threads. Yep.
I have one. You have been saying that every week, that one, and I have been a bit jealous.
Why?
I don't know, it is a good username, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I guess it is, yeah.
Compared to mine, it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you guys and gals for supporting us. It means a lot.
It does,
yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. So I'm really glad you appreciated what I proposed to watch.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Because so I'm happy that you got enjoyment from it. Like I sort of thought you might, so...
Yeah, it's bad when you know me so well now, you know what I'm going to hate, and then you love the fact that I'm going to hate it. And then...
yeah. And they go, okay, I'll be nice.
Yeah.
This time.
Thank you for knowing me so well.
So, thank you once again for listening, and we'll speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.